What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, retired two-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, future Hall of Famer, Showtime Shawn Porter, who retired with a record of 31 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 17 wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out one time in his career. Shawn Porter stood at 5'7" with a 69.5-inch arm reach. He's now 35 years of age. Shawn Porter, he weighs in on the rematch for this past July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena mega showdown, highly anticipated showdown that was anticipated for the last decade, the biggest fight anticipated for the last decade, not the actual fight, and the most competitive fight on paper, 50-50 if there ever were one, and that's between undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, now the reigning undisputed welterweight world champion, who is widely recognized and acknowledged as the number one best pound for pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Crawford is 40 wins, no loss and no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age. He'll be 36 September 28th, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Ironically enough, this is Shawn Porter's last opponent, and his last fight was against Terence Bud Crawford, and he suffered the only knockout loss and stoppage loss of his career. That took place November of 2021 when he and Terence Crawford faced off, and Terence Crawford got a 10th round stoppage victory over Shawn Porter. Now, the other fighter involved in this equation is former unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. He too fought Shawn Porter, and he dropped Shawn Porter in the 11th round of their fight, and they fought September of 2019. And Errol Spence, he won that fight, a split decision victory over Shawn Porter. Okay, that was a unification bout. So Shawn Porter was very competitive with both Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. There's a monumental moment in the fight with Terence Crawford going into the 10th round, in between the 9th round, where Timothy Bradley, retired Hall of Fame 2-division world champion, who was commentating the fight with Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford, he told Terence Crawford, when Terence Crawford glanced over at him, that he was down on the cards. And Terence Crawford had a moment where he said, "I'm down? I'm losing? Really?" And Bomac, Brian McIntyre, Terence Crawford's trainer, well-renowned trainer, he stated, "Pay attention." And Terence Crawford said, "They just said I'm losing." He said, "I'm losing." And Terence Crawford came out, dropped Shawn Porter twice, and then stopped him in the 10th round. And it was a competitive fight. And in the fight with Errol Spence, it was absolutely competitive as well. And that knockdown in the 11th round, many people feel like that proved to be the difference in the fight, while Errol Spence got a split decision victory over Shawn Porter. So nonetheless, Shawn Porter is very qualified to speak on this matter. And this fight was anticipated for a very long time. And on paper, again, like I said, it was seen to be a 50-50 fight if there ever were one on paper. And it turned out to be anything but that. It was a one-sided, dominant performance at the hands of Terence Crawford on the expense of Errol Spence. He dropped Errol Spence in the 2nd round twice in the 7th round and stopped him in the 9th round. Okay, a dominating performance. Now, in the 1st round, I gave the 1st round to Errol Spence. In the first half of the 3rd round, I gave to Errol Spence. But from there on, Terence Crawford absolutely ceased the moment, ceased the fight, took over and dominated and battered him. And there's many people that believe that Errol Spence, the fight should have been stopped in the 6th round, the 7th round, but it was stopped in the 9th round. Nonetheless, Errol Spence had 30 working business days to activate the rematch clause, which he did. And now it looks like they're going to be heading into a rematch in December, to which many people are questioning what adjustments can be made for Errol Spence to be successful. And Shawn Porter, obviously, who's familiar with both guys, he was asked once again and he gave his assessment. And he stated that he believes that Derrick James needs to identify his shortcomings. He needs to be able to see and focus on where he came up short, what areas he missed, and what adjustments he needs to make. And if he can't do that and apply that to Errol Spence's preparation as well as just his overall training, then he needs to bring in other people to help him. And you can focus on Errol Spence and they can focus on building a game plan to beat Terrence Crawford. And there's been a lot of reports and a lot of rumors that well-renowned trainer, Coach Calvin Ford, who also trains undefeated 3-division, 5-time world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis, who is 29 wins, no loss, no draw, 27 wins by way of knockout, 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach at 28 years of age, and is a southpaw as well, that they're going to be brought in. Coach Calvin Ford hinted that that could possibly be the case. And when asked what was the perfect sparring partner for Errol Spence to prepare for Terrence Crawford, Coach Calvin said Tank, which Coach Calvin is the professional here. He's the expert. But I highly disagree with him that Tank Davis is the perfect sparring partner to prepare Errol Spence for Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is 3.5 inches taller. He has a 7-inch arm reach advantage, and he switches from southpaw to orthodox. Now, in the fight with Errol Spence, he was predominantly a southpaw, and all his stoppages at welterweight have come at the hands of him being a southpaw. But you got to keep in mind, Terrence Crawford has only went the distance. Just like Gervonta Tank Davis, he has a lot of power. He's only went the distance 3 times since becoming a world champion in 2014, and 9 times overall in his career. Extreme power in both hands. But Tank Davis and Terrence Crawford don't fight anything alike. I'm one to say that Terrence Crawford to be mimicked for Errol Spence, the perfect person to bring in, not named Jerron Boots Ennis, welterweight superstar title contender, would be Cuban superstar boxer Erislandy Lara. Okay, I think that Erislandy Lara is the perfect opponent and the perfect person to bring in to mimic Terrence Crawford. Okay, Erislandy Lara has similar physical traits of Terrence Crawford. He's 29 wins, 3 losses, 3 draws, 17 wins by way of knockout. But he's a masterclass boxer, stands at 5'9" with a 75-inch arm reach, and he's a southpaw with hand speed, foot speed, and power. And he's big. He fights at 154 and 160, so he's naturally physically imposing and strong. Because in this fight with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford was faster, had faster hands, faster feet, faster reflexes. He was physically more imposing and stronger than Errol Spence. And his ring IQ was on 10, right? His jab was better than Errol Spence. Man, Errol Spence is a natural southpaw, so I believe that the perfect person for them to bring in would be Erislandy Lara to mimic Terrence Crawford, because they can't bring in Jerron Boots Ennis, who I believe is the absolute perfect match to mimic Terrence Crawford, but I highly doubt he's going to do it. But, you know, Erislandy Lara is perfect. Comes from the Cuban school of boxing. He's a masterclass boxer, has a beautiful jab, can move on his feet, he's fast on his feet, and he's physically imposing to get him ready for what he's going to see in a rematch with Terrence Crawford. But nonetheless, I do agree with Shawn Porter. I do think that Derrick James need more eyes. I do think that, they need to make some adjustments. Not dramatic adjustments, but some adjustments. I definitely think that Errol Spence needs to go back to his original strength and condition coach in Blue Ray Fitness. I think 1000% that needs to be the case. But nonetheless, there needs to be adjustments. When you lose one-sided in a manner in which Errol Spence lost this fight against Terrence Crawford, there has to be some adjustments. You cannot continue as business as usual. Now, I know Errol Spence is wanting this fight at 154, although he hasn't, requested it to take place at 154 at a higher weight class, because many people feel like he was weight drained, stuck around for 10 years too long at 147, and his body just wasn't responding. Not to mention he suffered a horrific car accident and a major eye injury. So that could be a major adjustment as well, but not the only adjustment. because Terrence Crawford, he checked off every single box. And so if he made 2 adjustments, that just makes the fight competitive, not guaranteeing him a win. So I have to agree with Shawn Porter. If Coach um, Derrick James, who is a 2-time trainer of the year and a future Hall of Famer, it's just too much on his plate. He has multiple champions: Jamel Charlo, Anthony Joshua, Frank Martin, Ryan Garcia in his camp that he has to focus on, as well as Errol Spence. And to be able to game plan for what Errol Spence faced and make adjustments, I believe you need more eyes. But let's see how this unfolds and plays out. It's getting more and more interesting every time I think about it. Initially, I wasn't excited about a rematch, but the more I think about it, the more I'm getting intrigued to see what kind of chess match this is going to be. What kind of adjustments Errol Spence is going to make moving forward. So let's see. I'm interested to see what adjustments Errol Spence makes and how he looks in the rematch. And can he be better? Was it just the night and the moment he was just lacking? Or was it that Terrence Crawford was just that much better than him? I'm intrigued to see. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.